Emperor Penguins by Mihail adds full colonies of emperor penguins to Skyrim's northern coast. You approach the Sea of Ghosts expecting the usual stretch of ice and wind, and instead, you're met with groups of towering birds clustered along the shoreline. Their black and white bodies stand out sharply against the snow, with yellow markings cutting through the whiteout. They gather close together near the water, filling the coast with movement and sound. The shoreline finally feels occupied rather than abandoned. Horkers nearby feel placed with intent, and predators moving through the area make immediate sense when there's visible wildlife rooted in the environment. Spending time along the coast starts to feel different. The frozen terrain feels harsher when it's shared with animals built to survive it. Long stretches of ice stop feeling like empty travel space and start feeling like a region with its own activity and weight. Emperor Penguins by Mihail gives Skyrim's far north something solid and physical to anchor it. The coast gains scale, presence, and a reason to slow down and actually take it in. Nordic Wanderer equipment adds a brand newish gear set to Skyrim that's a bit of an updated take on that bummy steel armor. You get a full suit of armor, a sword, and a greatsword, each with custom models for both male and female characters. The design is all big business: layered steel, sturdy leather underlayers, and heavy plates that look built for real fights instead of mango picking. Unlocking the set gives you a reason to get out and explore. South of Nightgate Inn, you'll find the Wanderer's Monument, where a short quest leads you to a crafting manual. Grab it, and you get access to gear that stands out from the recycled bandit scraps and guard uniforms you see everywhere else. Both sword and greatsword carry a squared-off, brutal look. Nothing ornate, pure function. Blades made to break a shield or split a helmet. Armor matches the vibe. Broad shoulders, reinforced arm guards, and a helmet with a sharp, practical cut. Every piece is craftable, temperable, and enchantable, so you can tune it for your own build. Nordic Wanderer equipment doesn't just add gear, it gives you an actual reward for a quest for once in this game. Clevercharffs Caves takes every underground cave and ice tunnel in Skyrim and gives them a level of detail that completely changes how they feel. Instead of smooth, shapeless rock or the weird plastic shine of vanilla ice, you get real stone layers, mineral veins, and icy walls that actually look cold and cracked. The difference is instant. Dark caves now have textured surfaces that catch every bit of stray light, and ice caves feel like they were carved by centuries of frost instead of just painted blue. Moss, pebbles, and grime are packed into the floors and walls, so you're never just walking through a flat corridor. Everything feels rough, uneven, and a little bit threatening. Every torch flicker or spell cast brings out new details you'd never notice in the old textures. You can see the difference whether you're crawling through a bandit hideout or exploring some forgotten barrow buried in snow. Clevercharffs Caves doesn't just make things sharper, it turns Skyrim's underground from a series of recycled hallways into actual places you want to explore, just to see what's hiding in the walls. Chicken Replacer. Mihail finally gives Skyrim's chickens some dignity. The old models looked like someone tried to sculpt a bird from mashed potatoes, with dead eyes and feathers that barely registered as texture. Now the chickens actually look alive. Smooth feathers, natural posture, and the kind of detail you'd expect from a next-gen farm animal instead of a background prop. The new model brings out color and shape, real hen browns and reds, clear lines around the wings and tail, and eyes that look alert instead of haunted. You spot them pecking around in farmyards and realize they finally fit with the rest of your upgraded world. Even the way they move feels right. No more awkward, zombie-like pacing. This isn't a flashy overhaul, but you notice the upgrade every time you walk into a town or pass by a farm. For a game that loves to punish you for killing a chicken, it's about time the chickens actually looked worth sparing. Solitude Stone Floor by Talos. 1S completely overhauls the paving and street textures throughout Solitude. Gone are the dull, grime-caked cobbles that have been stamped across every city since launch. In their place, crisp stonework with clean, sharp edges, pale mortar, and subtle color shifts that finally make the walkways feel like someone actually takes care of the capital. The new textures stand out in every part of the city, whether you're crossing the market square at noon or running up the steps to Castle Dower at night. Stones reflect light in a way that picks up detail you never noticed before, and the pattern actually follows the layout of the streets instead of blurring into the background. This isn't just a case of swapping out one color for another. Solitude's roads look maintained, deliberate, and worthy of the wealthiest hold in the province. Every path, corner, and stairwell feels like it belongs in a city that sees nobles, soldiers, and visiting dignitaries, not just muddy boots. Solitude's stone floor is the difference between a city that feels forgotten and one that actually looks like the seat of power. Chicks, Mihail, adds tiny yellow chicken guys into Skyrim's world, straight onto farms and around villages. They wander in little clusters, wobbling across the dirt, flapping stubby wings, and pecking at whatever's on the ground. These aren't background clutter. They move with custom animations and look like they belong out in the yard. The detail is straight poultry. The models are round, fluffy, and a total contrast to Skyrim's usual lineup of wolves and frostbite spiders. You catch them scurrying between adult chickens or standing there looking lost. Every little movement makes the place feel more alive. Farms and open areas pick up a new layer of activity. The vibe shifts from empty barnyards to actual working farms with animals growing up alongside the rest of the chaos. Chicks by Mihail fully steals the show. This is like inventing fire. Drops a bit of life into the washed out spaces we're used to. The effect is immediate. Villages look warmer, and you actually want to stop and watch. Clevercharffs Forts and Dungeons give Skyrim's imperial forts and dungeon interiors a much-needed facelift. The old stone walls used to look flat and muddy, with details fading out even in torchlight. With this mod, you get sharp, chiseled blocks and deep cracks, rough patches, and a texture that reacts to light. Every wall looks hand-built and aged by weather, not just smeared with gray. Walk through Fort Greymore or any bandit hideout with stonework, and you'll notice moss clinging where it should, frost lining the edges in snowy regions, and worn, rough patterns where guards have walked the halls for years. Even at 1K resolution, the upgrade is obvious. Edges pop, shadows cut deeper, and you can actually see the difference between a fort, a dungeon, and a cave. Instead of every stone interior blurring together, this mod gives each one a stronger sense of place. Imperial outposts look like they were built to last, not just thrown together in a rush. Bandit dungeons finally have the grit and grime you expect from a place that's been left to rot. Real fur for wolves transforms Skyrim's wolves from stiff, patchy mutts into actual predators you might hesitate to mess with. The new model comes loaded with layered fur, a bulkier frame, and detail that finally matches the threat level you hear in every growl and snarl. Instead of looking stringy and half-starved, wolves now have a thick mane, a fuller body, and fur that bristles when they're on the attack. Even in the middle of a pack ambush, you catch flashes of dense fur and movement that make them feel wilder and a lot less like recycled dog assets. The face is actually read as animal now, sharp, focused, and way less like a plastic mask. Chasing you across the snow, standing guard on a rocky outcrop, or circling for the kill, these wolves finally look like they belong in Skyrim's harsh wilds. Real fur for wolves does what every creature mod should do. Make you take a second look and maybe even hesitate before drawing your weapon. Merethic Grasslands gives Skyrim's landscape a serious upgrade by completely overhauling the grass in every region. This isn't just extra clutter. Each area gets its own style, color, and density, so the tundra doesn't look like the pine forests, and the rift stands apart from the reach. You see golden dry stalks in open plains, thick undergrowth in deep woods, and mossy patches along rocky ridges. Everything blends in with the terrain and light instead of popping out or turning into a flat mat. The coverage stretches across all of Skyrim, with the density and type of grass shifting as you move from one region to the next. This adds a sense of real space to the world. Fields don't feel empty, and every hike through the wilderness shows off new shapes and textures underfoot. There's a technical side too. To get the full effect and keep things running smooth, you need to adjust the grass settings with the simple workaround framework. Once you set those .ini values, the result is grass that feels wild, uneven, and organic, without dragging your performance into the dirt. Merethic Grasslands is the kind of mod that makes you stop and actually look at where you're walking, not just what's ahead. Whiterun Horse Statue, Horse's Galore version, reshapes how Whiterun presents itself the moment you approach the city. Before you reach the gates, a large stone horse statue stands outside the walls. Step inside, and another one appears immediately. As you climb toward Dragon's Reach, 4 more statues line the lower and upper pools, placed on both sides of the water. Each statue is substantial. These aren't background decorations tucked into corners. They're tall, solid stone figures, positioned directly along major paths. You see them while crossing bridges, moving through open plazas, and climbing the central stairs. From a distance, the silhouettes are clear. Up close, the stonework holds detail without falling apart. As you move through the city, the statues keep showing up in key spots. The entrance, the gate, and the Dragon's Reach approach all feature the same visual element, so horses become a constant presence rather than a minor detail. The layout feels more structured when those spaces are framed by large landmarks instead of empty gaps. Whiterun horse statue gives the city stronger visual anchors by placing bold stone figures along the routes you naturally take through Whiterun. High-quality ivy replacer changes how Skyrim's walls and stone structures look the moment you get close to them. You're walking through a city or past an old ruin, and instead of flat green shapes pressed onto the surface, the ivy has real form. Leaves overlap, bunch together, and follow the edges of the stone they're growing on. Up close, the detail holds. Individual leaves are clearly defined, with sharp edges and subtle color variation, instead of a single green blur. The ivy wraps around corners, spills over ledges, and clings to arches in a way that feels physically connected to the structure underneath. It adds depth to walls you've looked at for years without changing their layout or scale. You notice it most when moving slowly through cities or ruins. Bridges, towers, and exterior walls suddenly have more visual weight because the ivy breaks up large stone surfaces without covering them completely. The greenery sits on top of the architecture rather than replacing it, adding texture without turning anything into overgrowth. High-quality ivy replacer improves a huge number of locations simply by fixing how ivy looks up close. Stonework feels older, surfaces feel layered, and familiar places gain extra detail without altering their shape or function. Clevercharffs Mines 1K completely transforms every mine interior in Skyrim. The difference is wild. Where you used to get soft, blurry dirt walls and plastic-looking support beams, now you step into spaces that actually look carved out of the earth. The ground is packed with grit and crushed stone. Beams are dark, splintered, and look heavy enough to hold up a real tunnel, and every surface picks up the kind of detail that makes you want to crouch down and look closer. You'll see it the second you walk into a mine, no more smoothed-over walls or generic textures. The floors are rough and trampled, with pebbles scattered everywhere, and the wood looks beat up from years of use. Every inch feels like it's taken a beating from pickaxes, boots, and cave-ins. Even under a torch, the new textures hold up, showing off all the grime and stress these places should have had from day one. Mines finally feel claustrophobic and raw, like they were actually dug out, not just slapped into the world by a tired dev. Carts completely overhauls every carts and cart in the game. The difference is clear as soon as you walk up. Deep wood grain, darkened boards, chunky bolts, and wheels that finally look like they could handle a couple mangoes. The canopy isn't just a blue blur anymore. Now it actually has a woven look with sharp detail. Every part of the cart feels reinforced and purposeful, not something you'd find falling apart in a junk pile. It fits right in, but gives the world a sturdier, more lived-in feel. Like these things actually get built by people who care if they break down on the way to town from a mango harvest. Even the wheels have heft. They look ready for ruts, mud, and the worst Skyrim terrain you can throw at them. Altogether, it's the kind of upgrade that sticks with you every time you spot a cart out in its natural habitat. Water for ENB is the kind of mod that makes you stop and stare at rivers you used to sprint past. Every lake, stream, and pond gets a full overhaul. Ripples move with the wind, water shifts color in the sun, rapids look like they're fighting the current, and you can spot pebbles and silt in shallow water that turn murky as the depth drops off. It isn't just about reflections either. Foam collects along rocks, waves break against the shore, and even the tiniest stream feels alive. Water in Skyrim finally reacts to the world around it, instead of acting like a static layer painted on the ground. You see detail in every swirl and break. with surface effects that keep changing depending on the weather or time of day. This mod does for water what a lot of texture packs wish they could do for the rest of the game. It pulls the whole landscape together. After years of skipping over Skyrim's water, now you actually want to stop, look down, and watch it move. Whiterun Flying Ship adds a full-size big baddie airship cruising across the sky above the city. The design goes all out. Stretched canvas balloon, rows of layered sails, and a heavy wood hull that looks ready for an expedition. You'll spot it from everywhere, standing outside the gates, wandering the plains, or looking up from Dragon's Reach. The ship is always in motion overhead. It isn't a background detail you miss. The airship's route slices right through Whiterun's skyline, instantly breaking the routine. You know this view by heart, the same rooftops, the same mountain, the same clouds. Now there's something to freshen up that look, and it moves at its own pace, day or night. Mod hits exclusively by rule of cool. This is most definitely not lore friendly, but just look at this bastard flying and tell me it's not heat. The moment you see it, the world feels less predictable. That's not something you get from most add-ons. This ship makes Whiterun feel like a place where anything could happen, even after a decade of walking the same streets. Every pass overhead shakes up the old rhythm. One moving detail, and suddenly, Skyrim feels less set in its ways. Whiterun, Roman stone floor changes the experience of moving through the city by rebuilding the streets themselves. As soon as you start walking, the ground looks different. The roads are made up of large, uneven stone slabs with sharp edges, visible seams, and a layout that feels intentionally laid instead of smoothed over. Moving through the market or climbing toward Dragon's Reach, the stonework holds your attention because it actually has shape. Cracks run naturally through the slabs, edges are chipped and worn, and the surface looks like it's taken years of traffic. In bright light, the stone shows off its texture clearly. In shadow, it keeps its definition instead of turning flat and muddy. The difference shows up most while you're moving. Running through the city, the stone stays readable underfoot instead of blurring together. Long stretches of road, stairs, and walkways keep consistent detail, so the ground feels solid and deliberate across the entire area. Whiterun Roman stone floor gives the city streets weight and clarity, changing how Whiterun looks simply by fixing what's beneath your feet. Thank you so much for watching the video. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications, because the early performance of a video matters a lot more than people realize. If you liked the video, hit the like button. If you didn't like it, you can hit dislike, but I'd really prefer you hit like. Feel free to drop a comment with any other mods you'd like to see covered on the channel. I'll be back very soon with another video, covering a new batch of mods.